786-763-2278. 786-763-2278. Hey, you know what that is, right?
Phone number?
Well, yeah, it is a phone number. But I mean, it's the Cast of the Pod phone number.
Check out this Neo Geo Pocket.
Oh, that's very Neo Geo-y. You just showed I just saw my face. I like it because I saw my face in it. There you go.
Now take a screenshot.
Got it.
Click.
Take a picture to last longer. Oh, okay. Click.
Click.
Is that the first time I tried to do a Cartman on the pod?
Yeah, no, I think you did it before.
Screw you guys. Man, I can't do it. Me and Deb are both hammered bags of dog shit today. Speaking of hammered bags of dog shit.
Hi, everybody.
Look, Josh, look on top of Chuckles' head. I know it's the mic, but it looks
like a pompadour. I see the hair.
Like hair.
I see the hair. All right, y'all. Today we're going to talk about the substance. We don't have the dream team. We have the OGHTV team in virtual studio today. Remember when we used to lie all the time when we would podcast back in the day for HTV? We're like, oh, the $1 million studio.
This is a $1 million studio. Look how expensive this light is. Look how expensive it is. I'm in the shadows with my receipt.
Yeah, very expensive. You got to pay extra just for the receipt.
Hell yeah. Look at these fucking expensive shoes I have with the custom Charizard and Snorlax on it.
I thought it was Sonic for a second.
Dude, I saw some Sonic shoes the other day, and I was like, ooh, those are interesting. Can I put them on Klarna? And I was like, child size only. I'm like, these motherfuckers. Not that I do any Sonic running. I just mainly drop my coins everywhere now.
You have coins? Well, I have a bag of chips.
Oh.
There you go.
They've been sitting here for about a year.
Yeah.
I believe it.
So, shout out to Cobweb. Cobweb's out in the universe right now.
He's right getting an education.
Yes. Today we're talking about the Demi Moore blah blah blah. I'm all discombobulated. Demi Moore, Margaret Qualley, Dennis Quaid flick. I mean, Dennis Quaid's in there. I wouldn't call it,
He's in there a lot.
Yeah, but still. Chuckles, how you been?
I've been pretty well. I had 2 days off recently. This is being my last day of my days off. And I go back to the grind, which is not really grind because I just mess with Pokemon cards all day.
Nice. Living the dream.
That dream.
Deb, turn away from the mic when you cough like that.
I did.
Wow, you still picked it up. So yeah,
that's why I'm saying
Deb's got the obvious coughs and sniffles. She works around the little ones, and they're the petri dishes of all the stuff.
Yep.
And she brings it home. So
to you.
Yeah.
Speaking of petri dishes, I went to Valero and got me a little baggie of mints.
Meats?
Mints.
Oh, they said meats. I'm going to the corner store for a bag of meats.
Oh my god!
What happened with the mints? Is there more to the story?
I haven't opened them, and my breath still stinks.
That's it for the story?
But Aristocrats.
Remember when we had that on HTV?
Yeah.
I had never heard of it till we put it on there, and then it's like all of a sudden everybody knows about the Aristocrats. It's like, yeah, because it was on HTV, not knowing it was 100-year-old tradition for comedians. I wonder if they still have it now.
I want to know why I fucking look like a turkey.
Because you're aiming low up. That's why. If your camera was higher up, down.
Like this?
No. There you go. Let's see. Less turkey. Got the nice jawline. But then you're going to work out your arms by holding the camera up that way.
Yeah, fuck it. It's going back down here.
I'll stick with the turkey neck. It is Thanksgiving season.
Oh, it
Thanksgiving.
is. Oh my.
So
So Chuck,
let me understand this. Everybody who can watch this can see you and Deborah and me on 3 different screens, or this is what they're looking at, what I'm looking at.
this is 2 different screens.
Yeah, because I'm in the
Equally
background.
me, equally you.
Can I move my screen? I can.
Yeah, it's best if you stay in the center of your picture.
Actually, I put it in front of your face.
That right now is perfect.
So you're not team Josh?
Pod people, this is what you call technical, not difficulties, but yeah, we're growing with Riverside.
This is the most almost 4 minutes of nothing.
Yay! All right, motherfucker. In that case,
warning. This podcast is about the horror genre, specifically horror films. As most horror movies are filled with coarse language, violence and/or gore, the topics and language of the cast of the pod will also reflect the genre. If you have any issues with the aforementioned warnings, please press stop. However, if you have no issue with adult language, movie violence, or the accoutrement that accompanies horror films, please feel free to continue. You have been warned.
Find all our links there. You can reach us. I heard some coins. You can reach us at Cast of the Pod on most social medias. I don't know why I've got my old married gamer up there. Cast of the Pod, and you can find our OG HTV host Eric. Are you Eric? Are you Chuckles? Or you're still Chuckles?
Yeah.
Are you going by a secret code name now?
You guys still call me Chuckles, but no one calls me Chuckles at work.
That's what I'm saying. With a brand new life, people don't even know Chuck. I'm like, Chuck. Back in the day, it's like Chuckles, and they're like, fuck Chuckles, blah 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 blah.
I guess only you guys know me as Chuckles.
Irk. All right, so we're gonna. You recommended this film.
Yes.
I had no intention of watching this film.
Why not?
Because, I mean, it was a Demi Moore film, and it just whatever. And all the clips that I saw looked kind of artsy. And I was like, nah, whatever. And then you hadn't podded for a while. And you're like, hey, let's pod The Substance.
Yeah. And
I was like, well, I guess. I mean, Chuckles never wants to pod.
I always want to pod. Hey, how come, like, whenever I'm on my phone and nobody contacts me at all, and then as soon as I get on my phone for anything, I get, like, notifications from TikTok, I get notifications from YouTube and Facebook. Is there, like, an algorithm that, hey, this motherfucker's awake?
It's they them, not they them, but it's they them.
They know you're awake.
They're trying to distract you.
So now, I mean, just right now, I got a phone call from Roger. Then I got a text from Roger. Then I get a message from Joseph. Then I get a message from Vic. All in the time we started this shit, and so I'm not sure.
They'll be fine.
Yeah, you can answer it afterwards.
All right. So let me go to the MDib real quick. This is the 2024 horror drama. It's 2 hours and 21 minutes. The Substance. A fading celebrity takes a black market drug, a cell-replicating substance that temporarily creates a younger, better version of herself.
I like how she has to follow rules and steps to make this work.
Have you seen the new format we do on Cast the Pod?
Nope.
Where we talk a little bit about it, no spoilers, and then we drop our rating for it. And then after we drop the rating, then we just go full spoiler. Yeah.
No.
Yes. It works.
Wow.
It works great that way.
Look, see, there's another one. Let's see. He just texted me, Player One Amusement, who I just work for, is going to have Hulk Hogan signing.
Nice.
It's like, God damn. All fucking day, nothing.
Okay, so what do we do?
So, are you down to do it that way or what?
It sounds foreign to me. I'll ride with it. I think people have already tuned out already.
Nah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. One or two people will still stick around to look at your turkey neck.
Was it boat captain?
Haven't talked to boat in a long time. Anyways, we're not having that conversation. Miss you, boat, but
I don't.
So I want to say what I like about this movie. Even though it was very art housey and all that, and I was like, nah, I don't want to see that. I love the way that it was shot. I love the camera angles that it had. I love the coloring for it. The audio is fucking crazy. This is not a spoiler yet, but when Dennis Quaid is eating those shrimps and he just went to the bathroom and he was touching his dick a lot and he didn't wash his hands. Deborah's like, he didn't even wash his hands. I was like, I didn't notice that he didn't wash his hands. He's like, he didn't wash his hands.
I was too busy watching him touch his dick.
They don't show it. They don't show it. But you hear it. The audio is fucking crazy in this movie. And you hear him adjusting his pants and he's like, arr, arr, arr.
He's on the phone.
While he's on the phone with somebody. But then they cut to the next scene when he's with Demi Moore and he's eating shrimp. And the way that they show the slop of his hand into the butter and the shrimp, this is a body horror film. And oh my God. This movie has scenes that just like got to me. Like scenes. And
what was the last movie that made you do that?
I don't know. Deb?
I don't know. This movie was a different type of made me feel ugly.
I was thinking like Dead Alive.
Well,
which one?
Dead Alive.
Dead or Alive?
No, Dead Alive.
Dead Alive. I haven't seen that one. Drag Me to Hell. All the Sam Raimi movies where they like puke black or white stuff out of their mouths into like the demon transfers and all that. Bleh, bleh. Those types of movies.
Yeah.
Wait, you guys never seen Dead Alive?
No.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that later. We're discussing the film right now because we're not gonna be able to watch the movie while we're potting. So, I'll put it in the queue.
Are you potting?
We're potting right now. We like to potty all the time. Potty all the time. Potty all the time.
Okay, do we do the rating?
Real quick, Deb, is there anything that I missed that you liked about it?
No, I think you got it all.
The actors were perfect. The sound was perfect. The video was perfect. The directing was perfect. The colors.
And when they would go into the hallway from the building for
the long orange hallway.
Yeah.
My favorite thing was the practical effects.
Yes, that was another thing. They had practical, not all CGI. I mean, the color change in the eye was CGI, but then the prosthetics and yes, we'll get into that. Also.
But that was the main reason why I suggested the movie in the first place. It's like anything that has practical effects, we should at least pot about it, so people can be aware of it.
Modern practical.
Because
effects.
I don't think anybody else ever heard of this movie.
It's done well. It's done well in certain markets, to be honest with you.
But you don't see it like in pop culture and shit like that.
Maybe we have different algorithms.
Oh, and
I hadn't heard anything about this movie until
Deb's like, I'm gonna fuck.
Until Josh said we're gonna pot this with Chuckles, and I was like, and I looked it up, and then I looked up the trailer, and I was like, oh, looks interesting.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, it was a really good movie. I was glued to the screen the whole time.
Speaking of which, hold on, wait, where's it at?
What was that? Mick Foley coming out?
It's time early now that we do the motherfucking calculator of doom, un calculadora de doom here at Cast of the Pod. Brought to you by Cast of the Pod because y'all motherfuckers ain't sponsored. No, you know what? Brought to you by Club 3P. Thank you, Club 3P, for sponsoring and yes, y'all rock.
Yes,
is it an actual club?
Yeah, Club
Yes, our
3B.
Patreons.
Yeah.
Is
The
it San
Patreon
Antonio?
pod people.
We have Patreons.
We have patrons, Chuckles. Patrons.
I don't have patrons.
We do.
We
Cast
do.
of the
Cast the pod
Podcast.
does.
Yep.
But regardless, whoa. You have pants on, right?
No.
Oh. Are you looking for a comfortable spot?
I am looking to do the pod in this.
There you go.
Yeah, baby doll. Look at that shit.
You're looking very
Dang! There's a 1953 Hemi just for $400.
Okay. So Chuckles, you're the being today's guest host. You go first. Out of a 0 being the worst, 10 being the best, what do you give the substance?
I give it a full 10.
A what?
A full 10.
A
Full.
full.
I thought you
get
said
a
14. I was like, what?
Yeah, sure, 14. Why not? Yeah, sure. I know English. Yeah, you fucking mother. What?
All right, Chuckles gives it a 10.
Wow.
Deb?
Well, I was gonna give it a 10, but I didn't like the way it ended.
Which we'll get into.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing that dropped the score. So I'm gonna give it a 7 because of it.
Drop 3 whole points.
Yes,
just for the
I
ending.
didn't like the ending.
All right. So Deb and I did something that we say not to do for the pods.
Yeah.
When we went to go get something to eat a few minutes ago. Where's my
Bill
tea?
Millers.
Wasn't it right there in front of you?
When I went to go get a tea, we talked about what we're gonna give the movie. And she was debating on the 10 or the 7. I was like, oh, okay. I thought she was gonna go with the 10. This movie, I want to give it a 0 and a 10. Because as I'm watching this movie and I'm like,
so
like looking away, and then at the same time I'm thinking, well, that's what you're supposed to do. That's the movie's job. All the stuff that I hated about the movie, that I didn't like about the movie, is bringing up emotions and reactions that it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like all the stuff that I didn't like, you're not supposed to like.
it's like wrestling.
Exactly. I don't know what you're talking about. And Chuckles,
What?
quit showing your Schweppes.
Look at all this shit. Go ahead.
Why do you think I stay at this angle in this room? You've seen this room before.
I'm really surprised how's Deborah sitting down there.
There's room to sit over
On
there.
a pile.
Yeah, she's not even sitting on a chair. She's sitting on a pile.
I'm gonna give this movie, because I wanted to give it a 0 and a 10. The average would be a 5, but that would be criminal to give it a 5, right? I'm gonna give it a 9.
A 9.
So that brings it to a 26 divided by 3, gives us an 8.6, which brings it up to a 9.
I think it's a 9 from Castle Pod.
Yep.
Yeah, nice. And if Webb was here, he'll probably give it a 9 too.
I
don't know.
I don't know how he would take it.
I think he would probably give it a 7 as well.
He might be on the same path as Deborah. Yeah. We'll see after he sees it. We'll do that for Patreons only, where he can describe what he didn't like about the movie. But okay, so you have been warned. You've heard the intro. If you skip the intro, now you've been warned. We're going into the spoiler zone, and dude, this movie, Chuckles, good call.
Yes.
Good call.
Chuckles.
I've already recommended it to some people that are like, hey, I need a fucked up movie. Look at my chin, my neck hair and my beard. I gotta get this off.
Look how much distractions we have being on camera.
I got this movie, I mean, literally, it's so gross and so simple. That's the thing. There's so many things in this movie that are very realistic. And go ahead.
And I feel like we've seen this story plot before. I just can't pinpoint it. You know what I'm saying?
we've seen this plot before because it's what we're going through currently ourselves in life. The facing the reality of getting older, facing the reality of like, wait a minute, 2 weeks ago I was 25 years old. And that's what Demi. Oh, go ahead, Deb.
No, go ahead. No,
That's what Demi Moore is going through in this movie. You know, she still feels like she's on top of the game, top of the world because people.
You know what's funny? The last time I remember Demi Moore, I remember in what's it, Striptease, and she was freaking hot. Now she look all banged up and old and shit.
Well, she's 60 something years old. For a 60
She looks
something.
She looks like an Arby's
all that
sandwich.
surgery she's had.
So, exactly. That was one of the things about this movie that I was surprised. For her to do full nudity, she was playing a 50-year-old, but she's like 61, 62, something like that, right? And for her to show her flaws.
Like simple too, right? Because a lot of people from, I guess, Hollywood don't even do that kind of shit. And once you bit the dust, you bit the dust.
And that's one of the points of the movie. She was on top of the game. She wasn't a starlet. She was a TV lit, whatever those are. And like she had a aerobics. See, it's a real slightly what's the word? Adjacent, real adjacent universe where she's like the big celebrity, but she has a aerobics show.
Yeah.
Remember how like HBO had like aerobics back in the 80s?
I don't remember aerobics on HBO.
It was on one of the cable channels. I only saw it when we go to my Tia's house because we didn't have cable.
I think the only time I ever saw aerobics on TV was on Friday the 13th Part 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, to be honest with you. And then in the cartoons. But I never seen like a net channel with aerobics on it. Unless it was TV info or TV, what's it called? Like commercial TVs? Infomercials, yeah. But that's the only time I ever saw aerobics.
What were you going to say, Deb?
I was going to say, I think she was kind of like, I can't remember his name. Curly hair.
Yes,
aerobic.
recently passed away. Pauly Shore's been trying. Richard Simmons.
Oh, yeah, Richard
I think
Simmons.
she was like him.
The Richard Simmons of then.
The female
but
version.
back when when that type of celebrity was somebody before social media and all that crap. Social media killed the TV star, which can be a good thing. What are you doing, Joe?
I was giving bunny ears to my shadow.
But
So-
you know, this movie had a lot of, like how you said about Dennis Quaid eating, and like there were parts where I kept watching and you were like, oh, I can't watch this, like the whole needle part and stuff and like the different things. Though there was like one part that made me like not look at the TV, and that was the whole time Dennis Quaid was eating. That was just I couldn't do it.
This is a go ahead, Chuckles.
No, it's like, go ahead. I was just remembering it.
This is a realistic, the type of stuff that I say that I don't like. Because at the end of the movie, Deb doesn't like how it explodes towards the end. And the end, it goes super fantasy horror. It actually goes into a monster horror type. But the whole 90% of the movie, it's a body horror, body gore movie. And it's just the angle. You think, okay, we'll get a close up of his hands grabbing the shrimp, but I don't know if they use a different lens or how she does it. The director, the director did Revenge, Corley Farge, and just the angles of like him putting the shrimp in his mouth, and you see him pulling the shrimp, and you see it like stretching and tearing, and you can see inside the shells, and then he throws the heads on the just. And
then the sound of it just made my stomach.
And this is just a small little thing we're talking about. We're not even talking about when they stick the needle in the spine and they take all the. Okay, so talking about the movie, what happens is an aging starlet realizes she's getting older, and I
think she realizes it when she's in the restroom and Dennis Quaid goes in there and he doesn't know she's in there and he's talking about her.
He's like,
oh yeah, she had to use a men's
he's
room
like,
because
we need somebody new, we need somebody young and beautiful, and she's not any of those to him.
Right.
And that's when she realized, because I think it was her birthday. That day was her birthday and she was turning 50. So she hadn't thought about it because everybody loved her. She was still on top to herself. She was still on top. And
She'd
then
be on top any day.
and then and then being in the restroom and hearing somebody else saying that you're not on top anymore, that you're old and not as beautiful as you thought you were. That's what made her get all depressed and everything.
Yeah. She goes to the doctor, and as they're finishing the exam,
No, she goes to the doctor because she has a car accident.
That's right, because she's distracted. She has a
Because
car
they're tearing
accident.
her poster down.
And right as they tear, there's a whole bunch of symbolism in this movie. As they're tearing her face off of the billboard, right? She's looking at it, she's like, oh, it's my picture. And then the workers like, just tear the face off. Then she gets sideswiped. Boom. And it was another one of those where the angle was amazing. The you know, it looked like it was really her in there. But so she goes to the doctor. As she's finishing up her exam, here comes a different nurse that wasn't there before. He's got this big mancha, this big spot on his wrist.
Oh yeah, the bruise.
Yeah. And she had already been told, okay, you can get dressed and get ready. And as she's doing that, he's like pinching her spine and checking her spine and all that. He's like, yes, an excellent candidate. You'll be great. And she's like, what?
He's like, nothing.
Nothing. And she sees the big mancha on his wrist. And he's like, oh, yeah, sucks getting old, doesn't it? Something like that. And as she's walking out and she's wearing her yellow jacket, she's wearing that yellow coat.
April O'Neil coat.
The what?
The April O'Neil coat.
Yeah. And she sticks her hands in her pockets and there's something wrapped in paper and it's a USB.
It's a note.
And inside,
this changed my life.
With the USB in there.
And it says something about,
this changed my life. And then
yeah, that doesn't mean it's a good change. And so she puts in the USB and it talks about, you can do this and you can do that. And she's like, nah, I don't want to have anything to do with that. And then something else happens where she realizes she's getting old. She's like, fuck it. All right, I'll do it. She calls them up. I'm in. And they're like, all right, go to 35 North Alley something or another.
But you know, yeah, well, I know it's a real small detail, but I mean, we're talking about the movie and all. But at first she didn't want to. She threw it in the trash.
Right.
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Fuck it." Like I forgot what she looked at or something like that. And then she realized, you know, fuck it, I might as well do it.
She saw the ad.
Yeah, the ad.
We're looking for a 25 to 30-year-old.
Yeah. And it was the same company. And I'll say when we get there. Go on.
But I told Deborah, I like the place that they go to where, I mean, it's literally a shitty, dumpy, drug addict alley. You know, there's like some homeless people banging in the corner and a dog watching and like you know, just piss the whole alley smells of piss. And she finds this one little door next to a stairway. And that's it. It's got the address spray painted on top, 35 North Alleyway, Bumville, USA, whatever. And then
she says, take off your shoes before you enter.
And she goes and there's a little touchpad, a little scan pad. And then after she called them and says, I'm down, then a couple of days later in the mail, she got a card. 503. And she, boop, like that. The door starts to open. I told them, man, it would be nice to have a studio like that, just where you wouldn't even know where it's at. It's got one door, and then it only goes up like 2.5 feet and gets stuck. I'm like, nah, screw that. And as you're watching this, the anxiety's building. It's like, is she gonna get down and crawl through all that? No, but she squatted down.
I wouldn't be able to squat down.
But because she's an aerobics instructor and all that on TV, so she's still flexible. She's for 61 years old. She's not bad. That's another point of this movie. You know, are you really that bad? Are you really that bad that you need to give up what you are and make yourself worse because you want to be something that you used to be? That's what makes this movie so relatable.
But people who have surgeries after surgeries to keep their face looking younger, not realizing that the more surgeries that you get, it's not even you.
I know.
I'm sure that these people would be the first ones to jump on something like this. Like if this was something that I'm pretty sure it is, but I'm like, they would be the first ones to jump on. Oh, what? I can have a second of me, a younger second of me.
So, Chuckles, you had something?
No, I farted. I wanted to see if you guys heard it or not.
No, I didn't hear it. So she goes into this dirty, filthy entranceway into the alley, and then goes into like a Matrix room where everything's white. Well, it's not like in like infinite white like in the Matrix, but
It looks really clean. It looks like nothing like outside.
looks
it
like a
was like-
brand new pharmacy.
It was like the labyrinth when she went to her room in the junkyard.
Yes, and there's a whole bunch of
Lockers.
PO boxes, kind of. And so she looks for the one that says 503, and she puts her card on it. Boop, opens it. There's a package in there for her, and she goes home. Open the package, and this is where things. See, I told Deborah, shit, I would do this.
And I said, I wouldn't.
Let me ask you something. In any medication you ever took, have you ever missed one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you shouldn't do this.
Well, see, this is where we come into the problem. Okay, so instead of it being a serum that makes you young, it literally, and this is the part that kind of messed me up too.
It's so cool looking though, wasn't it?
The way that it was birthed and everything.
Yeah.
So you take the medication, and I was like, oh, okay, what's going to make a young clone of her?
You know, it was 3-step thing. You had to eat something, and then how'd it go?
So hold up. So you do the activator.
Yeah.
And the activator makes the cells start splitting, which looks fucking crazy. Like you see an eye push the other eye out of the way, and there's like 2 eyes in the body, and every cell starts replicating. The movie starts showing an egg yolk, an egg, and they inject it into the yolk, and then all of a sudden, boop, it's 2 yolks.
Yeah.
You know, so that gives you a hint of what's going on. So this serum that they have doesn't make you younger, it splits you in 2. Now the question being asked throughout the movie, since it's not an exact younger clone of Demi Moore, so it's not like what was her name, Elizabeth Sparkle,
Bro. She had the best ass I have ever seen.
We'll get to her ass in a little bit.
It was so nice. We need a
So-
whole
Demi
new
Moore or the
hour
other
of
girl?
podcast of talking about her ass. But I guarantee you she has like 80s bush or something.
They show anyways. That's Margaret Qualley, that played Sue. Instead of it being a younger Elizabeth, which I thought that's what was going to happen, and it's like, oh, okay, well now younger Elizabeth can go do the jobs
Yeah.
that older Elizabeth can't do now, and older Elizabeth will get the money. She gets to relax through life. No, that's not it. It makes a separate vessel, a separate body, and your brain, your spirit is carried in one body. And they tell you, so you use the activator, and when you use the activator,
It has to be a new activator.
right. It says use one. As soon as it said single use, throwaway after use, I'm like, they're going to use it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which we find out later on in the movie, spoiler alert, that's what
You
they
have
do.
been warned.
You've been warned. So you do the activator, you split into 2, and it's crazy because after you see the eyes shaking and all that, the back along the spine splits open,
That was crazy.
and then it comes. It
It looked like a vagina giving birth.
it births out the back, right? And then
Yeah.
the new body standing there, grown. She was like 25 years old.
And then throws up.
She sees herself, her older body, with the back ripped open, and then exactly bleh. So in the kit, I like the way they did the instructions. Activator, food for Matrix, food for other self. So what happens is, now she has to sew up the back of her older body, and you're seeing the needle break the skin and coming through and tying the knots. And the first pull of the knot leaves a big splash on the bottom, and I'm like, no, tie that part up too. You started too high up. And you see it in the poster, the way she sews up the back. and then she sticks another IV in it, and then this is the parts that got to me, especially with all the medical visits and all that stuff that I mean, we all as people have to go through, and all that. But this is what ties people to this movie, because you know the feeling of the IV going in. Most of us know that, you know. And
I was really scared of that too, but it's not that bad. But when they said, "Oh, we need to put it in your neck," I'm like, "Nope."
But and you see the movie, you see them breaking skin, you see it moving, you see that, and I'm like, ugh. And it's not that it was that bad in the film; it's just tying us, associating us to the movie, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, she sews up the back. She sticks an IV in of food, and it's got 7 levels for it. Come to find out that you can only do it for 7 days. 7 days. After the 7 days, you have to swap back to your old body, and then you feed days. That one for 7 days.
That kind of sucks, though, man.
So, and they tell you the whole time, you and her are one person. You know?
Oh yeah, when she when she starts complaining.
And here's it's in the instructions too before she even does anything.
Yeah.
And here's
the video also.
Here's the thing: the younger clone, has to take spinal fluid out of the original body, which they call the Matrix. Right? They have to take spinal fluid out, and every day for the 7 days, inject it in its legs like it's going into anaphylactic shock, like an EpiPen, and into the leg with the spinal fluid. If not, it starts getting headaches and the shakes
and bleeding from the nose.
The dizziness in this movie, once again, whoever did this shit has gone through this shit, because the dizziness was fucking perfect. The sound effects of the ears closing up, one of the things I go through, and all that was like perfect. So they have to do the spinal fluid, which comes into play later on. And oh my god. So she goes and she's living her life as Sue. Sue instantly gets Elizabeth's job, and this is where I was confused. I was like, is Sue a different person? Is like why?
As the audience, you think that because she looks nothing like Demi Moore, and she's a sweet ass, dude. Sweet ass.
For those of you that are only going to watch this movie for tits and ass, there's tons of it.
Yes.
Tons and tons, more than life force, and there's angles of crotch shots and tons of butt what's the word I'm looking for, the outline silhouettes and stuff like that. Whatchamacallit, Sue, she admitted, and this is one of the MDiv facts, that her quote unquote perfect breasts were prosthetics. They weren't really hers. Like some people were sad about that. I'm like, really? It's a movie. Get over it. Get over it. But yes, Chuckles, you will be happy to know that her butt was hers.
Oh, nice.
It was just her breasts that weren't. Well, they were.
Oh, who cares about the breast, man? You can see her cooch in the butt. I'm good.
But that goes along with this movie. Not just. I mean, the movie knows what it is.
Well, you can see how perfect she came out. Her clone came out, and you can see why she can get addicted to shit like that, and then start forgetting the rules.
Well, that's the thing that you had to learn. It really is the spirit. That everything that is Elizabeth is in Sue. But as we change, it shows the cockiness, the hard-headedness of our id, our spirit, our brains being in the younger body, thinking we know it all and thinking everything's great, this and that, blah blah. And then when she goes back into the older body, she's sitting at home watching TV, ostracizing herself, being depressed. But it's the same brain between the two different bodies. But the older her is calling and complaining. She's doing this, she's doing that, blah 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 blah, blah.
And like, it's you, bitch.
Yeah,
that's basically yes. That's basically what they tell her. And this one day, Sue is out partying with her 20-year-old friends and blah blah blah. She starts hooking up with a guy, right? And she goes over by like what, an hour or 2 hours
of the switch.
Yeah. About an hour.
And then when she switches to Demi Moore, now Demi Moore has like the witch finger.
Yeah, that's all fucking like this.
And her fingernails, and it looked like It looked like she was like 80, 90 years old just
Yeah.
on this part of her hand. On the loser
She had the
part of her hand.
the spots, the aging spots on her hands.
Yes. And they called up and they're like, she did this. And blah, blah. They're like, no.
You
The
did it.
two of y'all are one. You did this. Y'all are together. Y'all are single. And then the movie goes ape shit after that.
Yeah.
And boy, does they go ape shit. Some crazy shit. Oh, I love it. It was some of the best special effects I've seen in a long time. I can honestly say the last time I saw real great special effects will have to probably be the Thing remake.
Yes, it kind of reminded me, like with
The dog.
how they did Basket Case. It kinda-
Best.
The body horror of Basket Case. Deb, that's a good reference. I didn't even think about that, because so they're arguing back and forth, and it's still the real life thing. And Sue loses her job that she just stole from Elizabeth, but she gets a bigger job, and now she's going to be doing the New Year's Eve celebration. And I mean,
But they're showing how every time she's Sue, she's taking more time, and it's like,
And then they start fucking it up by putting that tumor in her ass.
so here's one of the things.
That was
A
funny.
lot of the reviews that I've seen for this movie are talking about how this is a woman's journey and this is how women feel and this and blah blah blah. You can okay, I'm not going to say no. I'm not a woman. I don't know. But as a getting older guy, I can tell you that this movie still resounds and rings good with me, because she's dealing with accepting how she's getting older.
Well,
And at the beginning, what then?
I was saying, when she runs into the guy that from the hospital, she runs into the original guy at the cafe. She went to the cafe.
Yes, after her fingers burnt out a little bit, she goes to the cafe just to get out of the apartment. And there's this old man looking at her, and he drops some stuff, and she's like, "Have you been following me?" Blah 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 blah. He's like, "No, I just wanted to check in on you and see how you're doing. Has she started yet?" And she's like, "What?" And it's this old man. He's like 80 something years old or whatever. And then you look, and he's got that mancha. He's got the big mole on his arm.
And the same one the guy from the hospital has.
Mole. but I mean, there's a part at the beginning of the movie where she's still super famous, and she runs into an old classmate of hers. He's like, "Oh my god, we had 10th grade together, we were in earth science or whatever, blah blah." And he's like, "Here's my number." Right? She's like, "Okay, whatever." She takes the number. Like, forget you, guy. Right? Later on, as she's getting older, and he calls her, and he's like, "You're still." She calls him because now she's already feeling that she hates herself. And she's hating her body because this younger version of her, it's her that she's hating. It's not another person. And she calls him up, and he's like, "Yes, we'll go on a date. I didn't think someone as beautiful and as famous as you would actually call me back. And let's go at 8." And she gets dressed and she's happy. And as she's going out, she sees the billboard of Sue. And then all of a sudden she's got to fix her lipstick more. And then try to push her tits together. And then she's got to cover her neck. Everything, little thing. And the moral of that part of the story is this guy, Fred, would have loved her just the way that she was.
Yep, because he said he had this big old crush on her since they were in school.
All this time. He still saw her as a beautiful woman. He still saw her as a starlet, as a superstar. And he had all this respect for her and everything like that before Sue came around, before the change. But she couldn't see it because she was like, whatever, this guy.
Because she's a woman.
It shows the mindset change. What she learns as she's feeling bad about this younger person taking her place. But it's not a younger person. It's herself. This movie is fucking deep.
Right?
It's fucking crazy. It's fucking sick. It's fucking deep. It's shocking. It's I don't know.
And the message that it throws out to you.
Yes.
I saw it on one of those YouTube upcoming movies. Check it out on YouTube.
Yes.
And I recognize all the other movies they were promoting except for this one. But from what they showed, it looked pretty badass.
It's just crazy because as Sue is in charge, when one body is awake, the other body is out.
Yeah.
Right. And so Sue, being the symbiote, being the venom, has to take that spinal fluid, right? And she decides, the younger her decides that she doesn't like. It's not fair. It's not fair going back to the old body for 7 days, and they tell them 7 days this way, 7 days that way.
No exceptions.
No exceptions. You can't break the rule. And then Sue gets all these jars and everything like that, and starts taking the spinal fluid out, and like months go by, and months and months and months, and she's getting famouser and stuff like that, and she's getting really cocky, and then there's no more spinal fluid. And then Sue calls up the number, hey, this is 503, what's going on, blah, 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 blah. They're like, yeah, that's why we said every 7 days. Whenever the matrix goes to sleep, it rebuilds the fluid. And when it wakes up, it rebuilds the fluid, and then when it goes to sleep, you get more. So she has no choice because she's going dizzy, she's getting nosebleeds and everything like that. And Demi Moore wakes up, and she's a fucking... my precious.
Like, worse than that. Like, my precious got ran over by
on her back, and man, I feel bad.
She looks like the witch that Hansel and Gretel threw in the fucking oven.
She looked like who's that weird hunchback guy in 300?
No,
from 300. Yes, she did. She did.
He's like, I can lift up me sword. He's like, no, you can't, bitch. You stay here and die. Watch our backs.
Oh my god, that is so true. That is really true.
But it looked better. It looked real.
When I saw her, I was like, whoa, like.
And then she took a page out of Deadpool. Got a picture of her face and stapled it to her face.
Oh no, we haven't even got to that yet. We haven't even.
Are we gonna go through every inch of the movie?
No shit.
Well, we skipped a whole bunch of stuff. So
we know that she's fucking up. She's fucking up, and she's having major consequences from it.
Yes, Elizabeth Demi Moore calls them up and says, "I don't have nothing to do with this." They're like, "Once you stop it, you can't restart it." She's like, "I'm done. Fuck this bitch." And so they send her a termination syringe, and very Pulp Fiction-y, she's looking to stab her in the heart with it, and she stabs her in the heart, and as she's pushing the fluid through, she gets about 70% through, and then she's like, no, we can work this out, we can do this. And how does she wake her back up?
She's trying, because she changes her mind in the middle of it.
And takes
she
the
didn't give
syringe
her
out.
the whole thing, and she takes it out, and she's like, I'm sorry, come back, you still have the show to do tonight. And she's like, come back, I need you. And she's like hitting her and stuff for her to come back, and then she snaps out of, like, she
both of them wake up at the same time. Now, for the first time in the movie, Sue and Elizabeth are looking at each other, and Sue beats the shit out of Elizabeth. And she gives her that fucking kung fu kick that flies her across the room. And this is, I mean, the movie's already fantasy and sci-fi, not sci-fi, well, it's health fiction as it is. But at this point, once they start fighting each other, it goes more and more and more into the fantasy, into the horror, and into the darkness. And she chokes out Demi Moore, kills her. So the old body is dead. So she goes to do her New Year's Eve thing, and they're doing the test lighting, and they're doing the dress fitting and everything like that. And last Monday I had a tooth pull.
Did you do it yourself like I did?
No. I still got the stitches in my mouth and all that. I spit one of the stitches out today, and she's like not feeling well. There is a scene before this that Chuckles is talking about where they're doing the almost reminded me of not Captain Amazo, but in Running Man, Jesse Ventura. Remember, he's doing a jazzercise thing.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
You too can do this. Captain America guy says, "Don't be a bitch," and stuff like. Remember in Running Man when he's doing all that stuff? And that's kind of how her show is. And she bends over, and when she bends over, there's like this big bump on her ass. Come to find out, it was a nightmare. But it's crazy because as she's grabbing, she goes to the restroom, and this is earlier in the movie. I'm jumping backwards just for this scene. But she's moving the bump up to the side under her abdomen, and she's moving it to the front. And then she sticks her hand into her umbilical.
She did the Ace Ventura putting out the apple core.
Pulls a whole like chicken leg out of her belly button, and it was very, you know. But anyways, going back to the end of the movie, now she can't get any more. I'm trying to say cerebellum juice, brain
Matrix juice.
Matrix juice, and she's in front of the mirror. She's having her nose bleed, and she grabs her tooth. And I hate when they do this. But then she starts pulling the tooth out, and you hear the meat tearing and the slide and the.
Okay, hold on. Which one looked worse, this one or the fly?
This one.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
I thought the fly was worse.
I can watch the fly like nothing. Jeff Goldblum, the fly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I can watch that one and just be like, ooh. Yeah. This one was like, oh shit.
To me, it wasn't that bad. I thought the fly was worse.
I don't remember. I mean, I know I've seen the fly, but I don't remember the.
We can agree to disagree on that.
No, he was taking off his fingernails and shit, and he had his dick inside the leg.
The nails, the teeth, I could see. Like I could watch her doing the teeth, but when she did the nail, that I had to turn around.
So I mean, the teeth thing on this one was so much worse than when you were a little kid and you lose a tooth or anything like that. But it had the same sound when the dentist had a broken tooth over here, and the first part was like, no, whatever, no big deal. But the second one he grabbed, and you hear the pulling and the breaking and the whatever, was exactly like in the movie. But then, like they were saying, when she did the nail, and then you hear the wet as the nail's pulling away. Like, don't listen to this movie with headphones on.
Yeah,
because or in a really good sound system.
It's the same sound you get from moving a jawbreaker from one end to the other.
You can watch this movie on Mubi. You can watch it on Amazon Prime. But anyways, so she calls 503, and they're like, yeah, the whole project's over. It's done. There's nothing you can do. And she starts freaking out and starts going through all the drawers and all that, and finds the last bit of activator that she should have thrown away. And she's like, I have this tonight. I have this going on tonight. I have to do something. But she's already pulled out all her teeth and all that. And so she gives herself the activator. Falls. The way they fall, and you hear the meat slap of their heads hitting the tile. I love her restroom. But I told Deborah, I was like, look at those sharp corners, those hard 90 degrees on that right around the sink and all that. I was like, that's dangerous shit to have. You're in all tiles and you got sharp corners, no handles or nothing like that. That's how you know I'm old. Where I'm like, there's no handles in this bathroom.
It just reminded me of that TikTok video where that girl, she's about to do a dance and she hits her butt on the corner of her drawer and she goes, ah!
Yeah. Yeah, yes. Yes.
And if we had a shower like that, I would be claustrophobic.
Dude, tiny shower. Big ass restroom, tiny shower. Unlimited restroom. Little bitty shower, please. No, you get that? You get that?
Yes, Aladdin.
But so
I got one.
What?
The proposal. Come on, that was funny.
After she gives herself the injector and her back rips open, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bless you, Deborah. Wow.
Boogers everywhere.
This beast, this Quasimodo, comes out, and it's got Demi Moore on her back in a forever frozen screen.
Like perfect face.
It's funny because before it happened, I said, wouldn't it be funny if she did this and then Demi Moore came out? And then Demi Moore did come out, but only her face.
It's just like a big blob of meat, and there's an extra arm or whatever. And then she throws on the dress that she was supposed to have. There's like a melted titty hanging out of the dress. And then, just like Chuckles said, she goes to this picture of Demi Moore that was in the apartment, tears it off, puts it on her face. She super glues it.
You forgot her earrings.
She sticks earrings in the. There's like pustules on the side of her head, and she's like, "There's an extra eye over here," and my dumbass is like, "No, don't stick it in the eye! Don't stick it in the eye!" Yeah. And she doesn't. She sticks it in the pustule. You know.
That
She's
sound.
shaking her head like,
And
my
this is the thing I didn't get. So she sneaks back into the, and this is where there's so much symbolism and another part of the story that I don't get
How
yet.
does she do that? Because she looks like that. Who's that guy? Who's that? Who's all disabled? Ricky something.
What?
You think about Ricky Berwick.
Yeah, that's how she walks.
Ricky Berwick is hilarious.
Hell yeah, he is.
Hilarious.
But that's pretty
And
much
we
how
definitely
she
don't get our stickers from Sticker Mule. Not a product placement or anything like that. But anyways.
Or our wall decor from Godzilla.
Well, no, Sticker Mule does our stickers.
And Godzilla does my decor.
There you go. Ricky Berwick's part of it. Anyways, she gets there, her extra arms, and she's wearing this blue sequence dress.
It's like people
like
only
that.
do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
Wig world. Perfect wig for that. No. And this is where, I mean, it's already fantasy, it's already sci-fi, and then it goes off where, like, they open the door, and then the gopher, he's like, "It's about time you got here. We only got 5 minutes until show." But I don't think he was really there, because she gets into the hallway, and I mean, there's, like I said, there's extra arms, and half her face is melted, and she's got a picture of Demi Moore glued to her face with red lipstick on, Joker-looking lipstick, and it's
and Demi Moore's on her back.
and Demi Moore's on her back, and there's a melted titty hanging out, and then she's all like, you know, and they show the
Do that growl
hallway.
again.
The what?
Do that growl again. That sounds great on the mic.
Oh, there's this beautiful orange hall that earlier in the movie had all these pictures of all the different years of Demi Moore that she had been there. Great carpet. It's not the carpet from The Shining, but it reminds me of The Shining.
Like it.
Beautiful lines down the hall, and the shots when people are walking down the hall, it just looks like this, like the hall's like a mile long. And now that Sue is there, there's only 2 giant pictures of her, like she was gonna fill the hallway through time, you know. And now here's what's her name? It was like Monstro something or another.
From one movie.
It was Monstro Eliza Sue or something.
Eliza Sue.
Mhm.
Yes, Monster Elizabeth Sue. Monstro Eliza Sue. That's the name of the creature. But now it becomes a creature film. And she sees all these people like, "Oh, you're so beautiful. You did so great. It's amazing. This is for you. Only because of you." And then they all fade out into nothing. So it's just her imagination.
And then it goes into an empty hallway.
Yeah, the hallway's completely empty. And then she gets up to where they're going on stage. And this is the part, this movie's completely, totally fictional. And this is the part I'm telling Deborah, I was like, that's bullshit. So they're doing a live TV New Year's thing. Kind of like Dick Clark's Rockin' Eve or whatever it is. Man, your camera just zoomed in completely into your... Oh, there you go.
Oh, I want to go kill a fly.
Oh. And there's all these, like, Las Vegas showgirls on stage, all of them with their titties up. I'm telling Deborah, you can't do that. That's broadcast television. In a world where there's this Quasimodo and all this science, and I'm over here like... So she goes onto the stage, and everything's dark, and then the spotlight hits, and then she's there, and she's like, "I am here." And I'm not making fun of people with health issues. I'm quoting the fucking movie.
I am.
All right. It's a quote for the fucking movie.
And she has a Demi Moore picture in her
And
face.
then the funny thing is, the painting that she cut out and stuck on super glued on her face falls off, and then somebody gets up, "It's a monster," and then somebody else is like, "Burn her." And it's like, Like, y'all guys are assholes.
That one lady gets up and screams.
Yeah, just the stereotypical "Ah!" And then people start running all over the place like she's gonna explode and whatever. And then she has that bulb on the side of her head.
I thought it was her eye.
It was supposed to look like her eye, but it had a nipple on it and it fell off, and it had an umbilical cord. Well, it was her eye. See, earlier in the movie, they're talking about another girl that was dancing. And they're like, oh, her body was perfect, but that nose, her face is fucking horrible. Too bad her tits aren't in the middle of her face. And they come back to that quote, and now Lissu is there, and where her eye is supposed to be grows a tit that falls out that has an ocular nerve to it. Like it was an eye.
But it was her boob.
It was an extra boob.
Was she trying to suck it? Like suck her own tit?
Chuckles. No.
I would.
And then like somebody runs up to her, hits her with a golf club or something like that, and all her head explodes, but then another head comes out. And then the movie, if it hadn't got ape shit yet, goes completely ape shit. They used 30,000 gallons of movie blood and just carried the whole audience. Just like her arm falls off and then blood, she starts turning around, and she was like one of those things that they used to sell us when we were kids, and people would be outside during the summer.
Oh yeah.
The water spin around whatever things
with the water dreadlocks.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then just with the water and just blood everywhere. Everybody's just soaked, completely soaked, and it just.
That's what killed it for me. It
went complete. Well, that's showing. The movie starts off small, and you think it's not small, but by the time it gets to the end, it's so fantasy, it's so over the top, it just grows. That's what's so perfect and bad at the same time about it, and it goes back to showing you that if she would have just accepted. It's not saying don't better yourself, but it's saying you are what you are. Be happy with what you have. Be happy with what you are, because it could be worse. That's what I got from this movie.
It's not always greener on the other side.
That too. I
didn't watch it like that at all. I saw it as a trap to get people to watch it's a cool movie with Demi Moore. And like, no, welcome to a bunch of fucked up shit. Hi. That's how I took it, and that's how I enjoyed it.
Well, I enjoyed it too. So she ends up dying and walking through the streets, and she's
because when her tit popped out of her eye, I was laughing my ass off.
Well, I was laughing too this whole time that she was.
I was enjoying it.
Thing.
Yeah, I was enjoying it. I wasn't going like, oh, she learned a lesson. I'm like, aha.
No. This is
the titty
afterwards.
That's what I'm saying.
There are different movies in this movie. There is one movie that's about seriousness and aging and acceptance. Then there's another movie about like fuck that bitch. And then there's another movie about just like tits and ass. And then there's another movie of just creature feature prosthetics, blood and guts. There are several. That's why this movie's almost 2.5 hours long, because there's different things in this movie. It's got a little bit of everything for everyone.
A little bit.
And then she falls and explodes, and then just the Demi Moore face has like a Krang body, and it's just crawling through the streets, and it goes right under her Hollywood Walk of Fame star, right? And the movie ends exactly where it starts. The beginning of this movie, when they're showing the egg separate and all that, blah 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 blah, then they show a time lapse. I don't know if it's like 3 or 4 minutes of them making the stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and you see
just
them
hers.
They show hers, and they're putting all the little things in there and putting all the cement around it and everything like that, right? And then you're watching it age. You're watching the snow come in, and then the rain, and then the sun, and people are walking over it, blah blah blah, and it goes through time, and then it cracks. So it shows how the star was beautiful and new, and then over time it started cracking, and then this guy drops his burger, on top of it, and there's a whole bunch of ketchup, and he picks up the mess and he swipes up the ketchup, but then it's still like all covered in ketchup. At the end of the movie, when the Demi Moore face melts away and just leaves blood and all that, it's almost exactly the same as the ketchup at the beginning of the movie.
No, thanks, Josh. Now I don't want to eat this hamburger I've been waiting to eat.
Good. And then here comes the street sweeper, and it cleans off the mess, and you still see it, and you see the nice star. You just accept that the star has cracks on it. That's it. The movie starts and ends in the same place.
Best movie in the world, in my opinion.
It's up there. It's up there. Deb, myself, and Cobb gave our last movie a pretty high rating. And
what movie was that?
Deb, what movie was it?
Blink Twice.
Blink Twice.
Blink Twice?
Blink Twice.
Yes, you need to watch that movie.
Yes. Okay, is it a movie I'm going to enjoy?
Yes.
I think so. You're probably not going to enjoy it just because we're saying you're going to enjoy it. But anyways.
No, I mean, I love Hereditary. You guys tell me about it. Like, oh, boring. And then that fucking Poe.
Yes, I think you would like it.
I think so. But, so, I'm forgetting the movie now. What
Hereditary.
we're talking about. The substance.
Well, I mean, there's not really much more you can say. You said the whole movie.
Yeah, I think you actually ran down the movie pretty well.
Dude, we saw it last night. But I'm going to see it again. It just, I don't know. It is a good movie.
I don't know. Maybe now that I already know and I see the movie, I kind of see why y'all gave it a 10, and I was going to give it a 10. The whole ending right there. I liked how she turned into what she turned into. But if it would have just ended with her, like, being sad because she turned into that, and not even her putting on the dress and looking at herself and getting herself dressed up would have been okay if it would have ended right there. I don't know. I didn't like
the movie is filled with adages, and all the adages are basically the same thing. Give somebody enough rope and they'll hang themselves. Be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. You are your own worst enemy. And because everything was her. It's just, this is how her brain worked with the younger, beautiful body. This is how her brain worked with the beautiful yet older body that she didn't realize. She thought she was a monster. She thought she was hideous, and then she became a monster and hideous.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
I just wish I knew more about the company and what was their true motive for doing this. That's the only thing that bugged me.
Dude, if they could do like a prequel or a substance universe or whatever.
Yeah.
So basically, here at Cast of the Pod, love who you are, be who you are. And now you know.
Gay.
Man.
Hey, you guys hear that?
What? Did you fart again?
Can't hear it.
All right,
Josh heard it. That's all that mattered.
So do you have anything else you want to chip in there, Eric? Did I talk too much?
No, you did talk too much.
But there's not much to say.
I mean, you didn't let me say what I wanted to say, but unfortunately, everything that we said does not do the movie justice.
Like, you have to watch it.
Like,
I recommend everybody watching it, and don't watch it the way I did it at the end.
What are you saying, Chuckles?
And we should not do a podcast with us filming each other anymore.
Why is that?
Because I was like literally the same spot on the screen for the entire thing, and people will be looking at that shit going, man, this guy doesn't do anything. But the whole time...
Well, that's why you get a tripod and sit up.
And at the whole time, with my bad vision and the light directly on Deborah's face and her eyebrows, she looks like she has white makeup on with Shaggy 2-Dope makeup. That's what I'm seeing. And the whole time, and with the red light, she looks like Shaggy 2-Dope.
There you go. I'm
Now
just
she
gonna
looks
raise
like
my
your
hand.
hand.
But yeah, do you have anything else you want to chip in on it, Eric?
No,
Eric?
no. I mean, just watch the movie and enjoy it for what it is. Don't try to go too deep in it, in my opinion. But if you want to go deep in it, go for it. It's up to you. But
That's the
I
beautiful thing about the
enjoyed the
movie.
hell out of it.
You can watch this movie just for it to be a blood and guts movie. You can watch this movie for it to be a tits and ass movie.
Was
Or
the
you
main
can-
reason why I liked it in the first place, because it's a lost art. Practical effects are a lost art.
It's just like you go back to the movie X, which the three of us reviewed. There are so many beautiful shots. If you take out the effects, you take out the whatever, the crazy shots of just how they walk, and in one shot they look like giants, and another shot they look tiny, and just you can break this down as being a film snob. You can break this movie down as being a horror person. You can break this movie. It's the only if you have no patience, you can't watch this movie. But like I
Yeah.
said, it's a creature feature. It's a blood and guts gore fest at the end. It's a good story. It's a moral. And you don't have to see all of those. You don't have to. You can go in there just for one of them. You don't have to go in for all of it.
True.
You know. But yeah, that's all I got, Deb.
No.
All right, y'all. We're like a minute and 12 seconds into this. Let's go ahead and end it here.
A minute and
we
12
are-
seconds.
A minute and 12 seconds?
Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Yes.
1 hour, 12 minutes.
I was like, damn, where was I this whole time? Where did this come from?
You've been listening to this on slow motion.
I was like, that
I
was
tell
a
you,
long 1 minute.
I tell you, I'm feeling like shit. I'm feeling like shit. It's starting to kick in already. But yeah, so we are the cast of the pod. This is the OGHTV version. Cobweb, shout out. Talk to you soon, brother. And you can find Chuckles at With Chuckles. That's the With Chuckles. He's
On
Eric.
Instagram.
We used to call him Chuckles back in the day, but now he's
Now
grown.
he's grown.
Now he's his own matrix.
Now I'm just covered in gray hairs. My knees hurt. I pee on my balls at night.
Dude, the scene when her knee is all big and ugly and she's
Ugh.
trying to pop it to stand up.
And it's all huge.
I have a suggestion. The
What?
next time we do a podcast, instead of we used to have this, but we should throw in scenes of what we're talking about.
Yeah, I can do that now.
Do it.
Yeah, but I just saw the movie last night. I didn't get to cut it or anything. Anyways,
And make me look skinnier and get rid of this.
everybody, dude, if I had $1 every time somebody's told me when I was their photographer or their videographer, make me look skinny, do that magic that you do in Photoshop.
I know you can do it.
I've never heard that one before. All right, so until next time, I'm Josh.
I'm Deb.
And I'm Chuckles.
We're
And
the-
that's a theory. A game theory. Oh.
We're the OGHTV Hatchet Television crew here on Cast of the Pod. You have been warned. Thanks. Tune in next time. Sign up for all our stuff. I don't like saying that because you're supposed to say that for
No,
new
sign up
listeners.
for that shit. Dude, I'm telling you guys, everybody on podcast land, Josh is struggling. He don't have money for gas. He don't have money for food. He called me the other day. He's like, "Hey, can I come by and have some toaster crumbs?" I'm like, "What? Toaster crumbs?" And
Toaster
he
crumbs.
he goes to my house and he shakes my my toaster, and he was like, "Oh, that's it?" And he was like, "Fuck it, I take what I can take." And then he had a fight with a roach for the same crumbs, and he lost, so he didn't get to eat that night. So sign up, give this guy thousands of pennies.
I wasn't talking about just for the money stuff, but just for the social medias and stuff.
Hey,
I
no,
just
people,
hate
no,
saying that.
Josh, people love that shit, man. If they know you're struggling,
All right, until next time, y'all. Thanks for your time.
Bye, everybody.
Peace.
bring money.
Chuckles, don't hang up.